No bridge is designed to withstand an impact with a ship as big as the Dali. Laden with containers, it would have weighed almost 100,000 tons. Officials said the crew had issued a mayday call and reported a loss of power. They dropped their anchor, but with so much momentum, they would have been helpless as they headed for Baltimore's Key Bridge.
If the propeller suddenly stops, the flow of water over the rudder is reduced. But on a ship of that type, it's very, very difficult to maneuver. And I'm sure that the command of the ship and the pilots did utmost to try and avoid that collision, even by going hard to port to avoid the pier. But obviously it's not been to no effect. It's been too little too late.
The Dali left the port of Baltimore at 12:45 at night, heading out to the Key Bridge that spans the Patapsco River, destined for Sri Lanka. It should have followed the navigational channel, passing between red and green buoys, but it veered off course to strike the bridge support. Take a closer look at the CCTV with a ship here on the left. 4 minutes before the crash, the vessel's lights go out with total loss of power and propulsion for around 60 seconds. There's a cloud of smoke, perhaps as the engines fire up, but then power was lost once again. At 1:28, travelling at just under 9 miles an hour, it smashed into one of the pillars. 4 seconds later, the bridge collapses, constructed as a single steel section supported by columns. Once one span falls, the rest quickly follow.
The rest of it is dragged down, and the last span then falls down because there's just so much going on.
It's like a domino effect.
It's a domino effect all the way across.
But it's not the structure that failed, it's the lack of an effective barrier to stop the collision in the first place.
So in a modern bridge, what we do is we need to provide a means of stopping the ship from hitting the bridge at its column supports. So you've got those supports in the middle there. What we would do is build an island off the seabed, fairly gently sloping one, so that if the ship were to try and hit the bridge, then of course it runs up this underwater island, so it comes short of the columns. So therefore there's no chance of damage to the bridge.
When the Baltimore Bridge was built in the 1970s, ships were a third of the size and the protection needed far less. Why the Baltimore Bridge wasn't retrofitted with better protective barriers is unclear, and authorities will want to know whether there are others vulnerable to a similar disaster. Thomas Moore, Sky News.